Anyone?
We were still reading, then you scrolled.
Oh, sorry. Number 3, though. Yeah, there you go.
I think it's A.
It's A, yeah. Thank you so much, Francis. Then the next question is, who is the most influential person for a teen driver? So a person who is a teen driver or a person who just started driving. Who is the most influential person? Will they look forward to how their peers drive, or the celebrities, or their parents? So who is the most influential person for a teen driver?
I will say it's A.
Their peers. So with that, apparently it's their parents. If it depends though. If their parents were driving and maybe they saw their parents driving, so it's considered as their parents. They look up to their parents. The next question is, what does a broken white line mean? That one. Never cross it, overtake it, or overtake if it's safe to do so. Stay in your lane at all times. Walk slowly.
I'll say B.
Yeah, B. Thank you. To the next one. So this one is just answered true or false. Males account for nearly 80% of transport accidents, deaths. So is it true or false? So males are the ones who account to up to 80% of accidents or death accidents while driving. So is it true or false?
That should be true.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't have any ladies. We need more ladies to answer these questions.
Oh, you want them to answer that question?
Yes, yes. See, we have like 2 or 3 ladies online. Okay. Yeah. As in, just to encourage everybody to participate.
Okay. What is the maximum driving speed limit in towns, in most towns in Kenya? So what is the maximum driving speed limit? So you either choose A, B, or C. Aye, well done. Thank you.
Yes, Faith.
She said A, which is, yeah.
All right.
True. Yeah, thank you, Faith. The next one. What are the main causes of accidents in Kenya? Okay, so drunkenness, overspeeding, overloading, carelessness, or all the above?
All the above, I think.
All the above, definitely, yeah. Yeah, well. And then the next one, these other questions, well, I do not have any suggestions, A or B or C, so you just, yeah, you can just either chat or as well unmute yourself on your thought. So how many wheels does a saloon car have? How many wheels does a saloon car have? So
5.
Yeah, explain more.
The 4 wheels and the spare tire.
Thank you, yeah. Okay, Faith. And then the next one, what is a pedestrian crossing? Someone else, or yeah, someone else, or
what is the pedestrian crossing?
Yeah, number 5.
The sign number, the zebra crossing number.
They change. What is a pedestrian crossing? Sorry. What is a pedestrian crossing? So,
like a definition of what? I think.
The definition,
It's a part of the road, yeah? Where pedestrians have a right of way.
Yeah. Yes, it's either it's safe for them to cross from, or they have a right of way. Yeah. So the EAK found on the outer cover of the driving license. What does this mean? What does it mean? EAK, which is normally found in the outer part of the driving license. What does it mean? What does it mean in full?
The Elsen is a river road.
EAK.
Aman is NTSA.
NTSA. I know nowadays there's the new one. Yeah, but what does it normally represent?
It looks like you'll help us with that.
Maybe I'll try that.
Try? Yes, yes.
East Africa, Kenya.
Thank you. Yeah, East African Kenya. Yeah.
Hey,
It means that we have a right to drive around East Africa. Well done. Oh, well. And then the next question: what is the name given to anybody? Name given to anybody carrying the sign "Stop"? We normally have, like, when children are crossing, there's normally a sign "Stop Children Crossing." Normally it happens in Kenya once in a while, but yeah. So what is the name given to that person? Any trial or any answer? Okay, it seems I'll help with that. So it normally happens during school trips, or maybe during normally in Kenya during school trips, and they're normally known as school wardens, so that they're able to allow children to cross safely. So what are the 4 important parts of to be maintained in a car? Yeah. So what are the 4 important parts to be maintained in a car? Anyone? Are you looking at the charts? I don't know if someone is
yeah, nobody. I'm looking at the chat.
Okay, thank you. Any trial before I give you the answers? And the 4 important parts that you need to maintain in a car, like, what do you think
the
they're very
engine,
important?
hizo zinaitwa fluids ama ni nini? Engine fluids. Sijui zingine.
I'll give you one. We have wheels. Yeah, the wheels, you need to maintain your wheels. Any other? Well done. Engine, fluids. Engine, I've given you another one, wheels. Any other thoughts? Parts that you need to maintain in your car?
Can I try?
Huh?
Can I try?
Yes, please.
Anything like G brake something.
Yeah, brakes. Yeah, you need to maintain your brakes, definitely. Thank you. One more. Any other answer? Okay, I'll give you the last one, and the last one is your lights. You also need to make sure your lights, especially when you're driving at night, you need to make sure that you're able to see when you're driving. Sure. And then this one, the next one is what is
Can you repeat the 4?
The 4. The brakes, the wheels, the light, and the engine. Of course, there are many others you need to maintain, but at the 4 essentials. Is that clear now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And the next one is what is costing? What is costing? We can try. That's a bit tricky, but well, I'm looking forward to see what you guys think. What is costing? Any trial before I give you an answer?
Is it driving with something like?
Yeah, you're on the right track.
Like without brakes ama na clutch peke yake.
It's driving for a long distance, but we're using one gear, yeah. So
Using one gear.
yeah. Only one gear. Okay, I'm going to give you the last question. Let me choose because I think I've used a bit of time, and I'm going to let me see. Actually, we just do number 15. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, what is the difference between a street and an avenue? That will be our last question because of time. What is the difference between a street and an avenue? And of course, in terms of driving. I think let me give you a clue. In one of them, like you'll find so many buildings along the road, and then in the other one, you'll find mostly vegetation. So, yeah, which one is which? So, yeah.
Streets have buildings, and then avenues have vegetation.
Vegetation, yeah. Thank you so much for your contribution.
I have an ask. What instead of because now is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 are also important. Maybe you can just go through them without asking and give us the reasons, the answers.
Okay. So number 16 is which signs are circled? So when driving, sometimes you might find signs which are circled and some of them which are triangle. So I'm covering both number 16 and 17 at the same time. So the signs that are circled, the first one is the signs that are mandatory and they are regulatory, like you have to like adhere to them. And then the second one, the signs that which are normally on a triangle, yeah, they're normally like warnings, yeah, warnings or caution. You should take precaution, yeah. And then number 18, it asks why headlights, why it's important for headlights for motorbikes to have headlights during the day. And majorly it's just because of visibility, so that other drivers are able to see them. And then so which types of vehicles are to be taken for inspection? And the type of vehicles that are normally taken for inspections are normally lorries and pickups. Yeah, which other one? Lorries, pickups, yeah. And I think there's one yeah, and trailers, yeah. Trailers, yeah. So, and the reason why they're normally taken for inspection is so that they're able to make sure that they're in good condition and roadworthy, yeah. So that's everything, yeah. Any addition, any question?
Oh, why are commercial vehicles taken for inspection?
Yes, I was saying it's because so that they're able to see that they're in good condition, and so that they're able to make sure that they are roadworthy.
PSV also.
Yeah, but majorly like but normally they like more keen in pickups and lorries and trailers, because they're the ones with lorries and trailers they transport, and we know that most lorries people normally don't mind buying secondhand at all, because the main aim is for them to transport, so they have to make sure that they're roadworthy and they're in good condition.
Okay, so taxis also are taken for inspection, right?
Yeah. Okay, let me answer
Taxis.
that. Yes, taxis go for inspection. Uber, any vehicles that carry people, especially the PSV, they all go for inspection. Yeah, commercial vehicles and actually PSVs are categorized as commercial also. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. because they have actually, if you actually see, they have an insurance sticker that is commercial, not private.
Yeah. So.
Thank you so much, Chair. That's all from my end. Back to you.
All right, thank you. I can see our numbers are growing. Asante sana. I know it's a bit late, keeping people at this time, getting people at this time at 8 p.m. is not easy, but thank you so much for the sacrifice. And I know we're going to learn something. Our guest is very prepared. And without wasting more time, I just want to, just tell you the reason why we're doing this. We just want to empower everybody so that we're able to make informed decisions in regards to auto care. So road safety, if you discover, according to the statistics done by NTSA, we have about 3,000 people dying in our roads annually, imagine. 3,000 people and about 10,000 people being injured. So you can imagine how much that affects the economy. About 5% of the GDP is being affected because of our roads. So what we need to acquire is, some cultures and mindsets that will help us, reduce these numbers. If you're able to bring this down, by doing this, we'll be able to bring down these numbers, the 3,000 that is being recorded by NTSA. Yeah, so let me continue, and also allow me to introduce Autovine that has organized this. Autovine is an online shop, auto parts shop that offers convenient, fair, and transparent marketplace for you to access your parts. So I'll just play a small video so that you can have an idea of what Autovine does shortly. Thank you very much. Hope you've now gotten an idea for those who didn't know what Autovine is. So we have a masterclass that is starting next week. So if you'll be interested, please, I'll send you into your emails. I have your emails. That is really nice for those that want to have some basics in regards to vehicles. Unajua hutaki kugongwa na mechanic, so I'll send you that, and I'm sure you'll learn a lot from that. So without wasting time, let me just invite our guest. Trotsky is one guy that I know is very passionate about safety. I've interacted with him before. He's very knowledgeable in regards to safety. He has a lot of experience in safety. He's a safety professional, and one thing that I like about him is down to earth. So Trotsky, please, the screen is yours. You can have the screen.
Okay, thank you very much, Geoffrey, for the introduction. And for those who we are meeting for the first time, I will reintroduce myself. My name is Lumiti Trotsky, and I'm the Health and Safety Manager for Camusat Kenya. And safety is my business. So, and I really wish to thank Autovine for coming with this session. It's just coming at the very right time, because we are just through with 1 decade of action. You see, when WHO realized that we have so many deaths caused by accident in 2010, they came up with some action that were to be implemented over the 10-year period, so that by 2020, we could have reduced the number of accidents that we usually had. So allow me to share my screen. I hope you can now see my screen. Now, rethinking road safety. Okay, thank you. Rethinking road safety. With this, when Geoffrey informed me that we need to have a discussion on rethinking road safety, I found it to be a very good topic coming at the very right time. Because sometimes what happens, when we see the accidents, we usually assume that road safety issues is usually maybe with the matatu drivers, maybe they're the ones who are unruly. But when we go through these slides, we'll see that each one of us will have some part to play in regards to health and safety. Now, okay, in regards to road safety. Now, I want to take you briefly to the history on where we are, and I'll start on the global level. You'll find that on the global level, each year we lose 1.3 million people. 1.3 million people who die as a result of road traffic accidents. And you can imagine these are very big number. And the reason why I found this topic to be very interesting is because if, let's say, when we were having the Westgate attack, we lost 67 people. But Westgate attack, well, how it looked like, it was like a very big disaster. But you can imagine losing 1.3 million people each year, it actually justifies why we should be having this discussion. And also, on the second point, you'll see that most of those whom we lose, they're the vulnerable road users. And what do we mean by these vulnerable road users? These are the motorcyclists, the cyclists, and the pedestrian. And we will all agree that at one given time, each one of us will either be a motorcyclist or a cyclist or a pedestrian in one part of our lives. On maybe when you go on your day-to-day activities, you find either you'll be a pedestrian, or you'll be a cyclist, or you'll be a motorcyclist, or you'll find yourself using the boda to move from one place to another. Then you can imagine WHO had a target to reduce the traffic accidents by 2020. But when we got to 2020, it was realized that the accidents actually increased by 250%. This is a very big number. And this 250 still was amongst the vulnerable road users. And you may find that amongst this accident, 93% of them came from the low and middle income countries, of which Kenya falls amongst these countries. Then, another surprising thing or an interesting fact is to realize that the number of people, the category of people who are really affected by road traffic incident were falling between 5 to 29 years of age. And we all understand that this is the age whereby we have the active people, the people who need to build our economy. And that's why I really thank Autovine for coming up with this topic, because it means that this thing is not sustainable. The moment we lose 1.3 million people and the majority of them fall between 5 and 29, it means that we are losing the people who need to be productive in our economy. And that's why you may find that sometimes it may become very difficult for us to really improve our economy, because the productive people who need to work, who need to maybe fend for their families, these are the people whom we are losing. Also, you see that road traffic accident is amongst the top 10 causes of death globally. And you can see this data was in 2016, whereby road traffic injuries were contributed to 2.5% of the global death. And you can imagine in 2020, we are moving towards the third position, road traffic injuries. And this only emphasizes on the need why we need to take this as a very serious topic, because you find that when when we lose our young generation, the families that we leave behind, the impact that it leaves behind, you find that maybe a family loses their father, or the family loses a son, family loses a member of the family who was maybe to fend for that family, and maybe one will say, Lumiti, hii ni ya dunia mzima, so maybe it may not be that interesting. But what happens to Kenya? And when you go to the Kenyan statistics, you'll find that the statistics in Kenya mirrors the one we have on the global scale. Like in 2020 alone, we lost 1,108 pedestrians. In 2019, we lost 137 pedestrians. So you see that pedestrian and the other road users, and we will all agree, you and I, after some time, will be forming these. At some point, we are all pedestrian. And this is the reason why we need to rethink. We need to rethink that, we need to rethink and to have this thing whereby we understand that road safety is not for the matatu. Because sometimes, okay, as much as it's very important for them to observe the road rules, but we can see the biggest casualty in all these are the pedestrian. Some time back, and I think it appeared in the news, you saw it trending on the social media, whereby one of the cyclists was hit by a speeding vehicle, and he lost his life. This data comes from the NTSA report, and it was as at October 2020. And this data, because they say numbers don't lie, this data emphasizes that we need to do something in regards to road safety. We need to do something to carry out awareness so that we can reduce the number. Because if we have a very big population falling under the pedestrian, it means now we need to have more sessions like this one, whereby we can carry out awareness, which maybe will lead to reduce the number of accidents that we have. And these statistics, this data informs us that we have come to a time whereby we need to change. What we are having is not sustainable. You and I need to be part of this change. We need to be part of this change and realize or draft where do we need to go as a country? Because we've seen 93% of these accidents are actually coming from the low and middle income countries, whereby we fall within these countries. Now, where do we need to go as a country? Where do we need to go, or what actions do we need to take as part of the citizens who fall within this category? Because I can confirm, for now, it may look like statistics. We may say that maybe last year we lost 1,000 people. We may say that maybe each year we lose 1.3 million people due to road traffic incidences. But the moment this just remains rhetoric, so that we only talk and discuss about it and don't take individual responsibilities to check this, it means one time we may find ourselves being part of these statistics. And now we need to realize, like, where do we need to go? We need a moment to stop. We need a moment to think of our action, and we need to take actions. And from the statistics that we've seen, whereby the vulnerable users are the one affected mostly with the road traffic incidences. Now, it means that we need to take some action. And the first is, because at some point we'll be pedestrian, we need to be predictable. Predictable in terms of when we're using the roads. Any other road user needs to understand, where is this person going? And this will not only come to the pedestrian, this will also come to the cyclist amongst us. Let's say you are a bicycle rider. Let's say you are a motorcyclist. We need to be predictable so that other road users can be able to understand maybe your intentions while on the road. Because the moment you are not predictable, the driver may assume, or any other person, any other road user might assume maybe you're planning to move left, and maybe you're moving right. And this means as a driver, we need to use indicators while driving. As pedestrians, we need to follow the rules and obey all the signs and signals that we have on our roads. Then as pedestrians, because this is where we've seen that we have the area that is majorly affected. And as a pedestrian, whenever we have a pavement or we have a crossway, let's ensure we use this crossway. We'll all agree. For some time, we may find someone just sharing the road with the matatus walking along the road. And I've seen it, let's say, when the government was arresting people who were using the Globe overpass. We had demonstration all over. People would complain and say, hey, kwani sisi hatulipi ushuru? Mbona wengine wanapitia kwa hiyo overpass hapo Globe, yet we all pay taxes. And this is the reason why I'm emphasizing that we need to rethink. We need to reassess this thing and see what do we need to take as an individual? What responsibility do we have like an individual? Because the moment we don't stop, think, and act, we are going to become part of these statistics. And let's say, like for major roads in these low and middle income economies, you'll find that they may not have the pavement. So what happens if there's no sidewalk? It means that how you need to walk, we need to walk facing the traffic. And as much as we'll be facing the traffic, we need to try and be as far as, okay, to be a distance away from the traffic, so that in case anything happens on that road, you can be able to make a decision and maybe move away from, because sometimes vehicle lose control. And what I'm discussing now, they're not new things. They're things which we've been informed since when we were in primary school. There are things which we've been informed while at our very young stages. But why is it that these are the areas whereby, as much as everyone has information, but we still have problem in this area? It's because of the personal decisions that we make. We take them to be lightly. We point fingers to other people. And after some time, you find that it comes to affect us as a people. Then as road users, we need to stay alert. We need to stay alert at all times. You find someone walking on the road, maybe chatting, listening to music. You're crossing the road and you have your earphones on, listening to the music. And maybe a driver may be hooting to you, maybe trying to warn you to move because something may be happening on the road. It means at all times we need to be alert and be aware of our surrounding, so that in case there's anything, we can be able to move and make the right decision when we still have time. Also, still under pedestrian, we need to use the zebra crossing. I can't emphasize this enough because this has been repeated since when we were on primary school. And we'll agree, and we will all agree with me that even right now, in some areas, we have the flyovers and the overpasses and the footbridges, but we still have some of us who will decide like, okay, hii overpass imekuwa refu sana. So for me, I've just decided I'll just cross the road I'll not use the overpass and I'll just cross the road. And this informs us of our risk perception, because our risk perception is, our biggest risk is maybe with the matatu industries. These people are somehow unruly. But let's look at the statistics. Where do we have the biggest problem? The biggest problem is with the pedestrian. And we need to take a preventive approach to this issue. Also, as a pedestrian, when we need to cross the roads, there are some areas whereby we need to avoid, both for the drivers and also for the pedestrian. When crossing the roads, we need to avoid crossing the roads at around curves and corners. For the drivers, we need to avoid overtaking. We need to avoid overtaking on blind on blind corners. And sometimes, and I've seen this topic going around for a very long time, like why do we have these double yellow lines? The moment we see a double yellow lines, these are the areas whereby we understand that we should not overtake on those areas. But we all understand these are the areas whereby we usually overtake, and we don't mind other road users. Then another thing which happens, and which may be leading to these so many accidents, is whereby a pedestrian or a road user assumes driver ameniona. The driver has seen me. These are very risky assumption, because we understand sometimes maybe and you can imagine a driver may be distracted, like we've seen in the questions which were asked before, and it was very important to start with the questions because it has emphasized part of the points we have here. A driver may be distracted in one way or another. Then the passenger or the other road user or the pedestrian assumes that the driver has seen me. So you just cross without being careful. And this is how we have the accidents. Sometimes you have other road users. Maybe people want to have some exercise, run a bit on the road, of which is good to keep fit. But we need to ensure that when we are keeping fit, any other road users can be able to see us. So it means we need to have reflecting clothing that will make us more visible on the road. Even the mkokoteni riders, because I understand some time back I was almost hitting a mkokoteni rider because he was not visible. So it means we all need to have way to make sure we are visible on the road. And for the reflective jackets, they go to as low as 120 shilling. And that reflective jacket will be the difference between you actually losing a life and you actually getting home safe. There's this picture. Now, this one will majorly go to the drivers. And you may find that for the driver, sometimes the action we take. The Kenyan law is when you get to a zebra crossing or a road crossing, we need to stop. We need to stop and allow people to cross. But what happens in ile mahali, we usually drive very, very fast. And the problem with this is that for the pedestrian may have decided, let me cross. But you as a driver, you decide that I will not stop on this area, and I'll continue driving. And we have some time back, we had a very big incident along Jogoo Road, whereby one of the bus drivers, he got at a zebra crossing. We had like it was mentioned before, I don't think I can remember the name, the school warden, whereby was assisting some kids to cross the road. Then for the bus driver, he didn't slow down, yet that was a zebra crossing. He ended up hitting the warden and some kids. And you can see this is a decision we make when driving. So it means, as a driver, we need to observe this. Whenever someone needs to cross the road, we need to allow them to cross, especially at the zebra crossing. And what happens? One driver will move so fast. The moment he reaches the zebra crossing, that's when he stops. And you can imagine we have a 3-lane road, and we have other road users. So kila mtu anassume barabara gari inaenda. Then the vehicle on the left stops because he's allowing someone to pass. Then for you, or for the other road users, they just drive as normal. And this is how accident happens. Now, what needs to happen when you approach a zebra crossing and you see people are crossing, we need to stop, like give it a distance so that the other vehicle, which maybe will be driving on your right, like you can see on this on this picture, the silver vehicle can be able to see the people crossing early enough, and he may be able to slow down. As a driver, never pass a vehicle which has stopped at a zebra crossing, because maybe when that vehicle stops, it means someone maybe will be using that zebra crossing to cross. So it is the moment you've seen a one vehicle has stopped at a zebra crossing, it means also you, maybe whom will be on the other lane, you need to also stop to allow any road user to pass. We have areas whereby we need to observe our speed limit. And this is usually around the school zones. It's very, very important to go below the required speed limit and go around 20, 30 kilometers per hour, because we all understand the school kids. One may run on the road and you may get involved in an accident. Also on the estates, I remember one day I was driving in one of the estates, then a kid just came from nowhere. Luckily, I was going at a very low speed. I didn't knock down that kid, but one of the pedestrian came to me and informed me, you see, for now, no one has an issue with you because you've not hit this kid. Yes, the kid was on the wrong because he just came from nowhere and ran through, he just jumped on the road. But if you had knocked down this kid, whether the kid was wrong or right, you will carry all the blame. Everyone will just blame you, oh, umegonga mtoto, and it will be a very wrong thing. Now, as I end my presentation, I can see my time is now up. I will end it with the Sustainable Development Goal 3, whereby we need to ensure that we promote good health and well-being. Like I started with this presentation, the number of incidences that we are having, they are not sustainable. It means that after some time, we will lose the active generation, the people who need to work and improve our economy. So in line with this goal, we need to make personal decision. You need to make personal decision. I need to make personal decision that no child or no person will lose a soul due to an accident. And I will quote what Dr. Tedros said, that no child should die or be seriously injured when they walk, cycle, or play. And as we move to the second decade, because now with WHO, we are moving to the second decade of action on road safety. Let's have a personal responsibility to ensure that the actions we take will not cause anyone to lose his life or have a serious injury. And that's all from me tonight. And I'll hand back the session back to Geoffrey.
All
Geoffrey,
right.
back to you.
Thank you very much, Trotsky, for that. My take home today is we need to be predictable. I think that is something that is very important, something that I've learned today. And we never stop learning. Yeah, no matter how long you guys have been driving, we always learn every day. So I'll be very quick. I'll just ask you a few questions that I really want to know. I hope something that all of us will learn from. What are some of the measures, road safety measures that you've implemented at CAMUSAT that have worked with your drivers at CAMUSAT?
Okay, thank you very much, Geoffrey, for that question. And like when I was starting my presentation, I mentioned my main area is environment and occupational health and safety and quality. And my major role is to assist businesses to avoid any form of injury, and part of it is the traffic related injuries. What we've done as a company in CAMUSAT, we've trained first what we do is to ensure any person who drives our vehicle is actually qualified to drive that vehicle. Because the moment you have someone who's not qualified, it means already we are in problems. They will not know what actions to take in regards to road safety. The second thing is to train our drivers on defensive driving. Defensive driving is not whereby maybe the one which escorts the president or so. By defensive driving, we mean that the driver can be able to identify the risks on the road and take necessary action to prevent those or to prevent an accident from actually occurring. Then now these are proactive things that we've already put in place. We also have a telematic system. This telematic system, which is fit in all our vehicles, is able to monitor each and every vehicle driven by our drivers, and we are able to see in real time the movement of the vehicle, the driving patterns of that driver, and the driver behavior. And with this data, we can be able to correct a driver or correct the situation before it leads to a traffic incident. Back to you, Geoffrey. No.
All right, thank you very much, Trotsky, for that. One more question. We have so many buses in Kenya that that topple. Watu wa Rongai, watu wa Thika Road, you know your buses, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, why do we have such buses? Why do we have such incidences on our roads in Kenya? What can be done to reduce that?
I will pick this on two dimensions. The first dimension is how some of the buses carry the loads. And you'll see we have other part of the buses which carry the loads on the roof. Kama zile buses naenda Kitui, and maybe some moving in some of the rural areas. The moment you decide to carry loads on top of the bus, you are already interfering with the center of gravity for this bus. So the moment you raise the center of gravity, it means when this bus will try to negotiate a corner, just a slight tilt, this bus will topple. That will be the first reason why we have so many buses toppling over. And what the government did, somehow it was restricted not to carry goods on top of the bus, but you'll agree with me, we still have some of the buses which will still carry goods on top of the bus. The second dimension is on the engineering of the vehicle, whereby you find what happens. Someone picks a bus, not really a bus. Someone picks a lorry, then converts it into a bus. The moment you pick a lorry, and you see these two vehicles have a different chassis. So the chassis for a bus is different for that one for a lorry. So when you use the lorry, when you change the lorry to become a bus, and therefore you'll be using that chassis, you find that the moment this bus will try to negotiate a corner, still we will have stability issues. Now, these are the two main areas whereby cause us to have so many buses turning over.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. The last question, and please feel free to ask questions. We'll be done in a few minutes. Ask them in your chats. I'll ask the last question, then it will be open to everybody. What is a near miss? And how can it help us to be safe?
Okay, for a near miss, a very good question. A near miss, I'll pick it from let me start with the health and safety definition of a near miss, whereby a near miss is an incident which happens but does not actually cause a damage or injury to someone. And let me now relate this to driving safely. Now, a near miss when driving, you may find that sometimes you are on a vehicle, you engage the handbrake, then the moment you want to the moment you lift your foot from the brakes, you find the vehicle still moves. You've engaged the handbrake, but the vehicle is still moving. Now we can have this as an example of a near miss. And why is it important? It's very important for us as drivers to ensure that we are able to note these near misses. Let me give a second example. You are driving a vehicle, then somehow you step on the brakes then you realize that the brake moves down, but the vehicle is not stopping. Then maybe you have to step again for that vehicle to slow down. This is another form of near miss. And the reason why I say it's very important for us to know these near misses is because the next time you'll step on your brakes and the vehicle will not stop completely. And it means the moment you start identifying these near misses, that's the time whereby you need to start checking your vehicle to ensure that if there's anything amiss with that vehicle, it's corrected in good time, and that will actually prevent you from leading to an accident. Back to you, Geoffrey.
All right, thank you, thank you. I can see we have questions in the chat.
Okay, thank you so much. And I have one question from Francis. It asks, a minute. Yeah, for us who drive our families, how do we keep them safe? How can we keep our cars healthy every day to avoid these accidents?
Now, that's a very good question, and I will approach it this way. You see, in Kenya, we don't have regulations on child restraint, and you find for some of the family drivers, they don't actually restrain the kids inside the vehicle. Sometimes we have toddlers, and how we assume is that maybe for the kids they don't need to wear seat belts. Maybe for the toddlers they don't need to be restrained. But as adults and maybe as leaders within our families, we need to ensure that we actually check our kids to ensure that wherever they are seated, are they using their seat belt? For the toddlers, are they actually restrained on their seats so that they can't move? And we understand that, you see, for a driver, your kid may be seated on the back seat and you'll be controlling the vehicle or maybe driving the vehicle. And sometimes it may be very difficult to control these kids. Now, this means we need to engage the child lock on the hind doors, on the rear doors, so that to prevent the kids from opening those doors. Because you can imagine, let's imagine this scenario. First, you've assumed, or maybe you've not enforced or you've not ensured your kids are using the safety belts. Then, second, you've not engaged the child lock within the vehicle, so the kids are just playing around at the back seat. Then one of the kids just holds the door handle and the door opens, and you are driving along Thika Road. You can imagine the kind of accident you'll have. So it's very, very important for you as a parent. First, ensure before even you start the journey and you have the kids inside the vehicle, ensure they all use their safety belt. For the small kids, ensure we have that car seat which is usually used for the toddlers. Ensure it is well positioned within the vehicle. And also, even before you start driving, it's very, very important for you to do a 360 check of your vehicle. Just go around the vehicle, so that in case you have a kid maybe in front or behind the vehicle, you can be able to note them. And maybe because what happens, people just enter the vehicle, they start driving, only for them to realize we had maybe a kid just seated in front of the vehicle, and maybe he was so small, the driver was not able to see this kid and maybe ran over the kid. So it's very, very important to do a 360 check. Then after that, check the kids in the vehicle to ensure that they use their seatbelts and they follow all the vehicle's regulation.
Thank you so much, Lumiti, for that. Yeah. I have another question from Oscar. It asks, when we talk of center of gravity, does it mean that if we raise our vehicle, maybe using spacers, we interfere with the stability. What is the alternative?
Thank you, Oscar, for that question. And totally, the moment you raise a vehicle, you are already interfering with the center of gravity. And this is the main reason whereby you find the moment you have a vehicle accident, and maybe the insurance realized that you had installed spacers or you had raised your vehicle, the insurance will not compensate you because you would have already interfered with the vehicle stability. So by raising that vehicle, you will actually raise the center of gravity, and you will increase the chances of that vehicle actually toppling over or falling over when negotiating a corner. For the alternative, these are very, very tricky question, because what happens when this vehicle were designed, they were designed to be very low so that they can become stable. So there's no alternative for you to raise it up, or maybe for the spacers. What needs to happen is for you to ensure that you don't interfere with the vehicle engineering. And maybe in Kenya, we installed the spacers because of our roads, the potholes, the bumps. It's very difficult to move with the vehicles when the vehicle clearance is too low. What I would advise on that is, the moment you are forced to include spacers in your vehicle, you really need to check your speed, especially around corners, because that's the areas whereby you have a very high chance of you losing control and maybe your vehicle toppling over.
Thank you so much, Luniti, for that. Any other question before I give it back to Thea? So personally, I have a question before giving them time to. I was asking, in case, what would you advise our members, and in case they find themselves in a minor or major accident, what would you advise them to do?
In case they get involved in a minor or a major accident?
Yeah, you can give them in different, first you can just maybe start with the minor. Yeah, because you know that in Kenya, at times when you take some chances and maybe try to use the right way, you might find yourself maybe hit and maybe the crowd, all over. And yeah, so what would you advise?
Okay, for this minor accident, do we have like injury, or is it just a scratch on the vehicle?
Yeah, for minor accidents, I mean like maybe a scratch, or maybe maybe you hit maybe an animal, or I don't know, or someone, but maybe they're not seriously injured. They're stable. That's what I mean.
Okay, for this question, how I would advise it, I'll start with the minor accident. Let's say you just get a scratch. You just get a vehicle scratch and no one is injured. For this, we'll go back to the Kenyan law, whereby the moment you are involved in any accident, it's very, very important for you not to move from the site of accident. Make sure you engage a police officer for you to move from that scene of accident. Because what happens, sometimes we have a minor accident and some people agree, hiyo enda tu tutasort mbele, this is just something small, and someone goes later maybe reports that I was involved in this accident and the driver ran away, and that automatically changes you to become like a criminal because you've broken the Kenyan law. So it's very, very important. The moment you have an accident, be it a small accident, it's very, very important for you to engage a police officer who will then come and give you the way forward. Then I'll move to the second degree of accident, whereby we have maybe the injuries. And the moment we have the injuries, it's very, very important for you to understand what to do in case of an injury. And it is very, very important. The moment, no matter how minor the accident is, it's very important for you not to assume anything, because, okay, sometimes you may hit someone, then maybe there's no, you can't, the injuries are not visible. So you hit someone and maybe he just walks by, he comes to you. It's very, very important. Like the same way we've mentioned, it's very, very important to engage the police. Then the second thing, don't assume that this person will be okay. I lost a friend of mine who had an accident in Kisumu, a road accident. His vehicle rolled for some time, but he was not injured, in quotes. So after the vehicle rolling, he just walked out of the vehicle. I remember him calling me, "Hey, gari yetu imeroll na nini." So after that, he died 3 days later after that accident due to internal injuries. So it's very, very important. The moment you have an injury whereby you have an accident whereby it causes an injury, the first step is to alert the police. If the person who is hit is in a good condition, maybe you can drive him to hospital. But if it's a serious accident whereby maybe the person hit maybe severely injured, it's very, very important for you. First, you need to alert the police. Second, you need to alert the ambulances, and it's very important for you to have the contacts of these emergency facilities, so that in case of an accident, you can be able to contact them for assistance. Now, what happens, of which I find to be very critical, you'll find that you'll have an accident, not even an accident. Let's say you'll have a puncture. You'll have a puncture, and I'll call that an near miss. And this may also lead you to have an accident. And it's very important for you to understand how to place the warning signs, so that you can warn the other road users. And this will happen on minor and also on major accidents, so that other road users will be aware that on this area we have maybe an accident, or we have an activity which will require me to slow down my vehicle. So it's very, very important for you to understand how to place the triangles, how to remove the triangles, because you see these triangles, you've placed them at around 50 meters from the accident site. Then from that accident site, or maybe now you need to move away, the police have come, and you need to move away from that accident site. And now you need to remove or to pick back your triangles. So the moment you pick this triangle, it means now you are introducing another hazard. Like other road users, how will they know that we had an issue on that point? So it's very, very important for you to know how to take that triangle from that axis, from where you had positioned it, back to your vehicle. Then you proceed with your journey, or you move away from that incident site.
Thank you so much, Lumiti, for that. And I can't see any more questions. I think our members are satisfied with the presentation. So I'm going to take it back to my co-host, Taya.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Trotsky, I really like to appreciate what you've done. I hope now we've been empowered. And, we are trying to build a community whereby we have safe drivers, safe pedestrians, safe road users. And I really like to thank you all for showing up. I can see Brian Johnson, Lydia Kebati, Doti Onuko, Oscar Matito, Lydia Kerubo, Lea Mainye, Mapenzi, Fabian, Charles Kinga. Thank you so much for making time for this. So we'll close it at that. And Kinyi, kindly, my co-host.
Okay, so that's the end of our session. And before we close, I would want to finish with finish with a word of prayer. So I hope, let's humble ourselves and let's finish with a word of prayer. Our kind and ever living Master, we thank you for this opportunity that you've given us so that we may be able to learn about road safety. I pray that you may be able to keep us safe, keep our families safe from roads, from our roads. And I pray that whatever we've learned today may be able to implement in our daily lives. I thank you for everything, and I pray that you may be able to be with us through the night. And I pray that your will may be done in our lives now forever. In Jesus' name I pray and believe. Amen.
Amen. You're free to
Thank you
leave.
so much.
The session has been recorded on YouTube, so you can actually share it with your friends. Feel free.